Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard. Okay, this is how the voided contracts and the advantages and disadvantages. Voidable years have been talked about a lot. This is an agent telling me this. NFL free agent signing. Collective bargaining agreement. They offer teams a method to help make it possible to sign veteran players to relatively high dollar contracts in years when the team faces an unusually unexpected tight salary cap situation. Voidable year contracts come with caveats, but they also offer a powerful tool for teams trying to add talent to a roster. The team will eventually have to pay the piper, but structuring the contract can delay the inevitable cap hit, allowing a team to squeeze a contract in that might not have been able to manage otherwise. Because most NFL teams run like organizations, businesses, and not like a teenage running wild. It's dad's credit card. It's basically part of the NFL's new collective bargaining agreement. So what are avoidable years? Avoidable year is an extra year on the length of a contract. See, but there are no years on these contracts. They're all UFAs. I don't get it. A voidable year is an extra year on the length of the contract that the team and the player intend to void. In other words, it is a dummy year on a contract that the player will never play or get paid. This makes no sense with the Eagles. They voided the contracts that they don't have to void anyway. They're up. The team has no say in these guys. I don't get it. When the Redskins used this method with Deshaun Jackson, when he was unexpectedly available in the 2014 offseason, the team had already spent most of its available cap space before Jackson became a free agent, but Snyder and the front office were keen to sign him. The Redskins wanted to give him a 3-year contract, but they were concerned about the impact of his rather high and hefty dollars in 2014 cap. They instead gave him a 4-year contract with a voidable 4-year. The effect was a shift part of his salary cap hit from 1 to This allows teams to sign high-impact free agents that they want. So now how we can go into free agency and look at some of the lists that we're going to talk about here. This allows Howie to look at some of the players that are out in free agency now. So how can the voidable year be used? It can be a bit technical and complex, but we're not here. He just gave me an example. By the way, this is Lee Steinberg helping me here. Let's say a team wants to sign a veteran free agent to a 3-year, $24 million deal. I'm just throwing a number out. In my example, the team is going to give the player half the contract as a signing bonus. That is $12 million. The remaining $12 million in salary will be paid eventually at $4 million per season. So, like, here's what they're going to try to do with these players. Here's what they're going to try to do. They're going to offer him, they're going to offer these kind of contracts. And here's the barometer here. Watch this. So year one, say Javon Hargrave. Okay. Salary, $4 million. Prorated bonus, $4 million. Cap hit 8. Second year, $4 million. $4 million, 8. $4 million, $4 million, 8. 1, 2, 3 years. Salary will be $12 million. Prorated bonus, $12 million. Cap hit of $24 million. Boy, it's really technical. Really technical. Okay? Really technical. Let's get into taking a look at some of these free agents again. Javon Hargrave, I don't care if he voids the contract or not. He's a free agent. He's going to get $18 million. He's going to have to sign him to an $18 million deal. Okay? I don't care what he does. This, I think, in all terms, Tone, I think this gives them a head start before March 15th. This gives them a head start. They're going to try to get all these deals done before March 15th. They're at least targeting the guys they want to bring back. Okay? Howie ain't outsmarting anybody. Once you put $50 million down on your boy, doesn't matter. You still got a $224 million salary cap. Dude, that defense, look at the work he's got. He's got to get coordinators. He's got to get players. He's got to get cheaper. This is going to be the best offseason. This is going to be the best offseason I can remember in NFL history. How you doing? Let's take a look at some of these free agents. How we run in circles on guys who are free agents anyway and aren't staying. Gardner Johnson, you're going to have to give him 18. Watch this. I'm going to cut a deal and we're going to put a deal together. You're going to have to pay him $18 million other way. I don't care how you do it. Voiding his contract. You're voiding contracts on years that you don't have to void. It just gives you a head start. So they're no longer Eagles. Oh, no, they're still Eagles until March 15th. All right. I want to throw some guys at you here. Jesse Bates, safety, Cincinnati. Interested? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Jesse Bates. No. Jesse Bates is a higher rated safety than Gardner Johnson. You have no interest in a guy who's rated higher? Tone goes like this. Bates wants a huge payday. He's a better player. He's a better player than Gardner Johnson. Okay. Probably true. Okay. Probably true. Jamil Dean, Bucks corner. Another high-end guy. This is Howie's forte. Dean of the Bucks. Cornerback. You're going to need a corner. I'd rather keep Bradbury. That's right. That's a great take. That's right. How we let Brian Dawkins walk. Can I throw this name at you? Would you have a problem paying $8 million to Saquon Barkley? You weaken a divisional opponent. You bring in a better player than what you have. He's a better player. He's a better player than Miles Sanders ever was. He catches the ball better. If I'm going to pay $7-8 million, and the Giants are talking about paying Daniel Jones $45 million, $40 million, they're not keeping him. Would you think about Barkley? You weaken the Giants, strengthen yourself, all in the same process. You bring in a better player, weaken the Giants in the same process. I don't know about you, man. Okay? Barkley's been injured, though. Rather get Henry. I don't know if that's happening. Just something to think about. Got another one here for you. How about Michael Thomas, wide receiver Saints? I think they're cutting him. I think the Saints are cutting Michael Thomas because of cap. I think they're cutting him. Would you bring in Michael Thomas? You might get the guy on a great deal, a Howie deal. Joseph, right. Okay. Well, my friend, they're cutting him. How much would I pay? God, can you imagine having him on your roster at $5 million a year with incentives? Michael Thomas, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and A.J. Brown? Good night. You talk about getting better. I mean, you talk about developing Jalen Hurts. Let's just keep adding great players around him. How about this one? This is kind of like an offshoot. Would you have any interest in Rashad Penny? The Seahawks guy. Been banged up. Never fit into Seattle. Put him behind that old line? Rashad Penny? You need a back. And by the way, you know why I'm throwing veteran backs out? Why would I throw veteran backs out? Why would I throw veteran backs? Why? Rashad Penny's not going to cost you anything, really. Why do you think I'm throwing veteran backs out? Because most rookies can't pick up pass protection. That's why a lot of guys don't play. Yeah, but Yale, if I don't, I could pick up a guy who can catch the ball, block, and run. That's worth $6 million to me. Instead of a kid in the draft. How about Marcus Peters, Baltimore, cornerback? What about grabbing him on a one-year deal? Marcus Peters played in the Ravens organization. Heck of a ball player. Marcus Peters can play. And I don't know if that would kill you. I think you know what I think you get Marcus Peters for? The same thing you got James Bradbury. I think it'd be something like that. I think Peters would play. You put him on an $8 million deal, put him at corner, and you're able to keep CJ somehow and Slay. Where's the drop-off? I think Marcus Peters is good. Hey, Tone, do me a favor. How old is Marcus Peters? Just want to double check what his age is. Please, God, don't let it be over 33. If it's over 33, I'm taking that guy off my list myself. If he's 33, he's off my list. He's 30. That's not bad. That's the same age as Bradbury. 29, 30. I'm all right with that. Just turned 30 in January, so he just turned it. I like that, man. You might get him for $8 million. Draymond Jones, Broncos, defensive tackle. By the way, that Bronco team finished in the top 5 in total defense this year, even with a shitty offense. The kid was a good ball player. Peters and CJ and Slay. Not bad. Okay. See, here's my problem. Here's why I'm throwing corners out. I'm throwing corners out because it's not a real big year for corners in the draft. So when you say draft a corner, it's not a thick year in corners. Draymond Jones, man, this kid from the Broncos is a ball player. And if you lose Hargrave or you lose some people significant, and get this, if you're a guy, because how he likes to cover his ass, let's just say that Jordan Davis doesn't step up again. You got a guy in the building in here, and you're bringing in another veteran guy who can ball, man. This guy's good. This is a deep corner draft? Who told you that? There's 2 guys in the top 30. Dank, not true. How about this guy? Tony Pollard. Weaken the Cowboys? To me, I would say this to you. Outside of Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard's the most important offensive player in the Cowboy huddle that's left. CeeDee Lamb is not a better ball player than Tony Pollard or more impactful. Tony Pollard's a 1,000-yard rusher, catches the ball out of the backfield. You drop him in the slot. And can you imagine him behind Jalen with that old line? Hey, I'd rather have a guy coming off a broken leg than a torn knee. I'm all right with the leg. I'm not talking. This guy didn't have a torn knee. There's a difference in injury. Get this. A broken leg takes less time to heal than a knee injury. How about Kareem Hunt? My favorite corner in this draft is the kid from Oregon, Gonzalez. I like the kid Witherspoon also from Illinois. How about Kareem Hunt? Probably wouldn't cost you a lot. He's been hidden in that Cleveland offense because of Chubb. I think he's a good ball player. Do I think he could be somebody like Garrett Blunt? Or an Adai? Something like that? One thing is for sure that the Eagles need is a red zone back. Your red zone back's Jalen Hurts. How about Marcus Davenport? My correction, it was an ankle for Pollard. Pollard underwent tightrope procedure instead of a surgery that required screws into the tibia and fibia for repair. A little more than I thought. How about Marcus Davenport? Edge rusher, Saints. Saints defense is pretty good. Okay. How about Dalvin Tomlinson, Vikings, edge rusher, 328 pounds and can play. Now, the problem with the Vikings was not on the perimeter. The problem with the Vikings is in the middle. This guy's an edge rusher at 330. Okay? He's an edge rusher at 330. How you beat the Vikings is right up the gut. They need D tackles. Hey, I could see Hargrave landing there. They need defensive tackles. And TJ Edwards makes sense there. Dalvin Tomlinson can play. He's a great looking, and you sign me up. Anytime you get an edge rusher that's over 280 pounds and this kid's 328, sign me up for that. Miguel says, what do you think about signing Daron Payne, Washington? Let Hargrave walk. He's going to cost you some money. I also like the kid up in Buffalo. I think he's a corner. What's his name? Poyer? They got a kid up there in Buffalo that's a free agent too that I'd like to take a look at. Miguel, plus you weaken a divisional opponent. He's going to cost you some dough though, dude. Payne's a good football player. Okay? Payne's a good player. Sean's right, man. That's right. Flores is up there now with that defense. Good take. Good take. Jordan Poyer, safety. He's really good. I like that kid. That kid can play, man. Plus, he was also up there, in that defensive system up there. He's a good football player. Too much money, probably. Hey, anytime you get, you're young and there's a ton of money, correct. Now, this is a different guy. And this is kind of like a Howie dude. Arden Key, Jaguars, edge rusher. I don't think he's a starter, but I think he would be a fabulous rotation guy. I like what the Jags did with him. They brought him in and out. And again, I'm not signing him. I'm signing him for depth. Okay? I'm signing him for depth because the Eagles are going to lose some players here. So Arden Key, Jaguars, edge rusher. That's somebody that I would kind of take a look at to bring in for depth. Because that's, again, one of the things that the Eagles were just so good in the offseason at. They were so good in the offseason at building the roster. And again, they built the roster around a lot of one-year deals. Okay? Jesse goes, Sills, how much do you think Jesse Bates will cost? I think Jesse Bates as a safety is going to command the $14 million. That's going to be out in the open market. Hey, it wouldn't shock me. It would, because Cincinnati won't do it. I don't think they'll franchise tag him. Okay, I don't, because I think Cincinnati will let his ass walk. Or they'll trade him to try to get some assets. And now remember something. Again, all free agent moves, if these guys end up going someplace, you're going to get compensation picks in the end. Okay? Eagles need a downhill pounding running back for this RPO system to mix in with speed running backs like Scott and Gainwell. Sports, I would say this to you. Also, in my opinion, to take some of the heat off of Jalen. Jalen can't have 200 carries. He's on pace for 200 carries. He can't have that. Okay? Seals, would you sign Davenport from New Orleans? I want to look more and want to know what the price tag is. Okay? I want to know more in the price tag. Franchise tag for CJ will be 14.4. Remember I told you this. It'll be 14.4. Care what voiding anything does. He's going to command top dollar. He's an unrestricted free agent. He does not have to sign with the Eagles. They have no control over him after March 15th. They have no control. Zero. So, again, 14.4 for CJ. $15 million for Reddick. Slay's 18. That's 47. So you're going to get, if you're not going to get rid of Hardgrave, that's 16.6. You got $75 million and 5 players wrapped up already in a $224 million signing or a $224 million roster. That's what the cap is going to be. You can restructure Lane Johnson and Slay's deal and maybe Goddard's deal and maybe Malata's deal as much as you want. Currently right now, hey, Tone, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Eagles are $1 million over the cap. Well, now that they voided, it doesn't really matter. Well, it does because the new calendar year doesn't start until the 15th. So those guys are still Eagles. until the 15th, technically. Okay? Jake Elliott restructuring. I think Jake Elliott makes too much money to be my kicker. He's really reliable, though. He's really reliable. By the way, so your guys are going to spend all this money, and once again, you're not going to address your special teams, which costs you potentially the Super Bowl. So you're not going to address that either. Is that right? You want to address the defense, you want to address Hurts, but you're not going to address special teams because you don't have the money to. So you're going to be back in that boat again too, right? Why do you think he's walking, Sills? Because he's going to commit. Because all of these guys for the Eagle. Here, let's do this. What's this? It's a great question, and it's a fair question. Tone says that the Eagles currently have about $10 million in cap space. Not bad. I guarantee you, if you take a look at the Cowboys, hey, how would you like to be the Bears? I think the Bears got $93 million in cap space. I think it's something like insane like that. Or am I wrong, Tone? I think it's maybe 43 or some shit like that. Maybe it's 43 instead of, but they got a boatload of money, man. The Bears have a ton of cash, and they're going to be players big time. Here, Sanders. He's all the ones that are starters I put in highlight. Sanders had a career year. The question with him is going to be this: is he a one-year wonder? That's a question with Hurts too. That's my question with Hurts. You're going to pay a guy $50 million off of 1 year. He wasn't very good his first year starting, but his improvement. The Bears have $92 million. Hey, don't tell me that. Really, the Bears have $92 million. Boy, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm $98 million. Wow, do they suck? Holy cow! So like, going to pay a quarterback $50 million off of 1 year. Sanders, are you going to pay a running back off of 1 year? Right? Sayamalo is going to make a killing. He's going to make $14 million. He's going to make $14 million annually. And I'm, get this, and I'm undervaluing him. He could make 15. I think that guy's going to get $75 million. He started on the Eagle O-line. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's got 2 NFC championship rings, and he's only 30. What do you think? He ain't coming back. They can't afford him. You're already paying your bookend tackles $40 million almost. And you think you're going to pay Sayamalo 15 to 16 million and your center 10? The Bears have the most cap space in the NFL. The next closest team is Atlanta with 55 million. That's a lot too. That's a lot too. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Hargrave's going to get 16 million. Kazier's going to make a good salary in the open market if they don't bring him back. Edwards is going to make a good salary in the open market. It's funny. So they want to get a head start on some of these guys and negotiating with them. That's what they're doing. They want to get a head start on it. They want to clear the books, get everything out of the way, and they want to – this is a way to cheat. I like it. I think it's gamesmanship and working the CBA. I had it explained to me. It gives the organizations a chance to negotiate now instead of waiting to free agency. That's why they've done this. And it gives them a chance to franchise tag somebody like Gardner Johnson. You're still not keeping all these guys. But you may franchise tag CJ Gardner-Johnson. I think they're going. You know what? Hey, Tone, what's the last guy they did that to? Was Djax? They did the last guy they did that to was Deshaun Jackson. I think they may do that with Gardner Johnson. Now, here, I'll ask you guys this question. You think Gardner Johnson, hey, Tone, I want to double check. 14-4 on safeties. Is Gardner Johnson worth the franchise tag? Seals, would you No, I'm not doing any of that. Jordan Davis has got to play defensive tackle for me. Seals, would you let Miles walk? I would. Hunt's going to be a free agent. The Browns are either going to cut him or let him go. Right. Hey, KC, the Eagles, man, a lot of work to do, man. Wow. Do you think CJ Gardner is worth the franchise tag? I think he is. Because if I'm not mistaken, he's 26. Okay? He's 26 years old. He's a hitter. You could play him at corner, too. You could play him at slot safety. He's a great athlete. Okay? Only thing I hate about the kid, he's a freaking Gator. He's 24? Man, I can't. You see that right there? Razor, the reason he's going to command that money is right there, what you just said. He's 24. Man, how does Mickey Loomis? Here's what happened with Gardner Johnson. What's the biggest mistake they made? The Saints. They made two, actually. The whole quarterback thing with Jameis Winston. But here was the other one. They signed Honey Badger. They had to get rid of Gardner Johnson. He was the better player in the end. There's a decision. Once again, there's a decision right there that kills franchises. Dude, you're telling me the Saints wouldn't want that kid at $836,000, knowing full well, and get this, man, you cut Honey Badger right now. If I had that kid on my team versus Honey Badger, I'm cutting Honey Badger. He gets hurt too much and he's too pricey. Gardner Johnson is better. This is what I told you about the whole Purdy thing. Okay? Financially, you've got to also look at that. Gardner Johnson is not going anywhere, and the Eagles will franchise tag him if they can't get a deal done via Inside Birds. I believe that. Seals, do you think Jalen Ramsey lands in Detroit? I think he could land in Minnesota. Atlanta. Carolina. I think he could land somewhere around there. Sean, I think the dead cap money for Slay is $26 million. If they were to cut him, I think it's $26 million. The dead cap money would hit. I think it's 26. Oh, Gannon. Gannon's going to make a play for Gardner Jones. Well, if they don't get a deal done. And remember something. If you franchise tag, what happens if you franchise tag someone? And you want to make a deal for him, you have to give that team 2 1s. Okay? I mean, if the Eagles sign Gardner Johnson and you want him, you have to give the Eagles 2 first-round draft choices because he was tagged. Steve says this: Hurts deal will be both team friendly and about $50 million per on average. I could see a $7 to $10 million. That's crazy, man. Dude, that sign-up bonus is low. Steve, 7 years, $100 million? I know guys who signed 6-year deals get $150 million guaranteed. That contract that Josh Allen just signed, I think it's 6 year with $150 guaranteed. You're going to have to up that guaranteed money. You're tying a lot of incentives and roster bonuses around his base. That kills teams with the base, Steve. That would hurt. That's not team friendly then. I get what Steve, you're going by the old notion that if you leverage out the contract, that the back end of those deals usually don't work anyway. A lot of teams are doing this now, though. They're front-ending the deals. Because how many deals do you see where a guy is out of shape, he's no good, and in the last year of his contract, he's Albert Pujols? You know what I'm saying? That's why most teams, they front-end it. So front-ending a deal with guys is more sense to me. You know why? Pay the guy what he's worth. And if you want to move off of him, it's not going to kill you when he's 32 or 33 or 34, and it's a $5 million cap hit. See, teams think they're saving money, but you're losing money in the back end, especially if you guarantee a lot of contracts. I personally, for me, I'm front-ending my deals with roster bonuses and signing bonuses because I want that base salary in year 3, 4, and 5 of his contract. I want it to be cap friendly, not cap hell. Jesse goes, Sales, what do you think of the Eagles interviewing the Wisconsin defensive coach for the DC spot? He's got a great reputation. I think he's got some Parcell blood in him. And I think he's worked with Bill before in the past, if I'm not mistaken. Miguel, thank you again. Thank all you guys for doing this too. Trade scenario, trade the 10th with the Bucks at 19 and get the kid from Ohio State, use the trade capital to trade up from 30 to 24. I'm not drafting a running back in the first round. I am not. The kid from Texas is good, Miguel, but I'm not drafting a running back. No way. I would rather draft an edge rusher. Kid from Clemson. Replace Watkins and Miles. Man, I could get another guy in the open market to be my number 3 guy. I mean, I'll have a 3. Okay. I could even draft a guy. I've got Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. I'm pretty good with that. I think Rex Ryan's getting that Denver job. I do. I think he's getting that Denver gig. He wants desperately back in. One thing I think Rex is a great defensive coordinator. I didn't think he was that shitty. I didn't think he was that shitty of a NFL head coach either. All right, let me take a timeout. Please hit the like button. Some other NFL news. I want to hit on it. And by the way, compensation picks. I just got a list here on if you guys do lose some of these players, Howie's going to have a ton of picks.